Good morning, everyone. Great to see you all. Have you enjoyed the conference? Right on. Well, as our panelists take their seats, I want to introduce myself. My name, as mentioned, is I go by Dr. Luff, and I'm the president and CEO of Higher Level Leadership. We are a first-in-class speaking, consulting, and coaching company. I left a flyer at your table for your information and so that we can stay in touch. Well, I'm excited for our panel. As we go through some of the thought-provoking questions, if you want to add to them, just put your hand up in real time, and we would love to address your question or your comment or your statement. Does that sound good to everyone? So first what we're going to do is we're going to do an introduction. I'm just going to introduce who we have and what they do, and then they're going to share a little bit more elaborately about the great work that they're doing in the field, especially related to this topic. First, we have Dr. Cheyenne. She's the Chief Transformational Officer and owner of an outstanding organization, Quantum Learning Global. Dr. Cheyenne, please tell folks a little bit more about you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Cheyenne Craya Foster. I am the Chief Transformation Officer for Quantum Learning Global and Super Camp. And recently, we also launched a nonprofit, the Empowerment Institute. We have been around since 1982 in 32 countries. And this past year, we did hit 1 million impact for 1 million people. So we're super excited, right? We do all social emotional development and accelerated learning, going all the way back to the grandfather of social emotional development and accelerated learning, Dr. Georgi Lazanov from Bulgaria. He came over and actually helped us design the program in 1982. So we are very grateful to have this much abundance in our program, and we're very grateful to be here and on the panel helping change the world of education.
All right, round of applause, please. Round of applause. Thank you. Next, we have Kiran. Kiran is the Director of Partnerships and Acquisitions at iGuru Digitech in India. Kiran, tell folks a little bit more about you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Good morning to all my friends in education and agents of change. It's really an honor and humble experience to be here at this beautiful occasion in front of educators, visionaries, and entrepreneurs and policymakers. Basically, I have born and brought up in a small village in India. When power comes, people clap. Okay, that kind of scenario. The journey has begun from there. So I have seen so many interesting and challenges in my life. And mine was pom-pom, right? Plenty of money or peace of mind. Okay, so I was driven by plenty of money. So later, after my journey, I realized peace of mind is more important. Then I thoroughly examined myself, what kind of mistakes I've done in my journey. I realized that there are some mistakes like career guidance, career counseling, and mentoring was missing in my life. So I took it as a challenge and took it as a problem statement. So that's the journey where we began. So I used to visit universities, institutions, various schools in India, and we support a lot of students. So hundreds, thousands of people, basically, we did support, and a lot of certification programs we did for them to enhance their career, to taste the success early. That is a beauty. And I'm from Bangalore. So that's it. Thank you.
Round of applause, please. Next, we have Chitra Sabason, the Principal Consultant at CS Care Solutions. Chitra?
Thank you, Dr. Love. So wonderful being here in Las Vegas. This is my second time being here. It's such a wonderful city, beautiful culture, so much positivity. My name is Chitra Sabason, and I'm from Toronto, so it's a 5-hour flight, and I'm flying back tonight, but just so privileged to be on this stage, and also with my esteemed panelists here, such wonderful talent and expertise in this conference. I started off at the bedside as a clinician, respiratory therapist. Did a lot of work, worked through SARS and many other things, and living today to tell a tale. And I did a lot of teaching. I became a clinical educator, clinical coordinator. I did policies because I was called to do so. And I never said no. I always said yes, because there's so much learning to do and so much to share, so much to learn. And I also worked with clients and families, because that lived experience is something that you could never perceive. I wanted to know how their experience in healthcare was. So based on that, I said I was going to provide an education curriculum that is very inclusive, that integrates people's lived experience. And we are going to get the next generation of educators and clinicians to that level of providing compassionate, evidence-based care. That's quality standard, where safety is at the top of priority, and also making it a client and family-centered approach. So at CS Care Solutions, that's what I do. I work with smaller organizations. I have actually provided supports to Sickets Hospital in Toronto to expand their services into the China market, and to help children and mothers, expecting mothers, to offer ultrasound and other sort of echocardiogram to ensure that if those children are born with cardiac anomalies, they're being treated in a proactive manner. I also did some work in Qatar, particularly in the rehabilitation sector, because there's a lot of children and youth with developmental disability who are on life support. But how can we provide the best care possible for them and empower the families to care for them in the home setting? So that's key to quality of life, and empowering people where they're at in the community, at their home. So that's what I do: policies, clinical practice. And yeah, I wrote a book in Brazil. Again, a lot of invitations come to me, and that's important, because when you do good things into the universe and put it out there, I truly believe that good things come back to you, and then you keep doing more of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So 10 years as a lecturer at the University of Toronto for biomedical engineering students. That was important for me, because biomedical engineering students tend to be very technical. So how do you incorporate the compassionate, that human side, to the devices that they're actually developing? So I'd like to pause here and
Thank you.
pass it over to you, Dr. Taffy.
All right. Thank you so much. A round of applause. I don't know how she gets it all done, but it's great. It's great. It's great. And last but certainly not least, we have Christopher Banks. Christopher is the Dean of Washington Adventist University. Please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Love. And I'd like to echo the sentiments already expressed, that it's a pleasure to be here at the Education 2.0 conference in Las Vegas. The conference hosts have done a marvelous job in making us comfortable, and it's a pleasure and an honor to share the stage with illustrious panelists. My name is Christopher Banks. I'm the Dean of Student Success at Washington Adventist University, which is a private university in Tacoma Park, Maryland, just literally almost directly on the border of Maryland and Washington, D.C., here in the United States. What energizes me personally, I used to serve as Director of Education and Workforce at the Urban League in Portland, Oregon. I have a background of creating academic programs in the space of political science and international relations. And I am always, excuse me, searching for the thread of social mobility. How can we preserve and propagate social mobility? Because I truly believe that's the strength of society. Once mobility ceases, then the problems and the stresses of society really take root, and no one likes that result. So I look forward to delving into these issues today.
Thank you so much. So we're going to get started with our questions. We've prepared for 2 rounds. If we have time, we'll do more. Our panelists, we're looking at probably about 2 minutes each question, and we're so fortunate we have the clock right in front of us. So we're going to get started. with Dr. Cheyenne. Based on relevant research, what are the foundational elements for an optimal educational space that promotes diversity and belonging?
Okay. So, when we're thinking about good old American NFL football, we all know that the best team in the NFL is the Broncos.
And all the Broncos fans said,
Yeah! Okay, so maybe that might be my favorite team. However, when we would go to football games, what we would notice is that home field advantage that they would have. When you go to a game on anybody's home field, home court, there's just a different vibe. When we are leaders in any type of educational environment, we have to create that home court for everybody there. If I am a leader, when someone walks into my office, there needs to be a home court advantage that's created. And we know that that comes through 4 principal things within research: safety, support, belonging, and most importantly, voice. The physical, mental, and emotional capacities, what we do with Quantum Learning Global is all social emotional development. So safety comes through physical safety. When I walk in, do I feel the good vibe? Do I feel safe in this space? The support is the mental support I'm getting. If I have questions, are they going to be answered, or are they going to be pushed off to the side? Am I going to be made to feel dumb because I don't know something? So the safety, support, belonging is the emotional connection. In that home court advantage, the belonging and emotional connection is critical, especially in those diverse populations. And finally, when we've got that safety, support, and belonging together, we look at how can we provide a way for voice to happen. Equal voice for whoever is the leader, whoever are the students, who's the teacher, the parent, the child. There's got to be that duality. And we create that through social emotional development, most importantly, making sure we have that home court advantage so the Denver Broncos can win every game
right on,
sometime in the future.
right on. Thank you so much for sharing. Get on. What ways do big events that bring different communities together help make education more inclusive, appreciate diversity, and create a strong sense of belonging in classrooms?
Actually, it's a big question. These kind of questions, we need a lot of time, but to comprise everything in just 2 minutes is very difficult. With liberty, I'll take 1 more minute extra. Okay, so normally education is just not a profession, right? I mean, this conference example, it's a call to action, to share our ideas, to instill, confidence, at the same time to ignite curiosity among the people and to empower the next generations, right? So, I ask you one question. You might have seen so many gatherings across the world, right? Which is the best gathering or the largest gathering that you ever heard so far? Can anybody can share? Anybody can share your examples? Like Octofest you have seen, like Olympics you have heard. You have seen that. And Carnival in Brazil. But some people might be knowing already. The Prayagraj Kumbh Mela. The Prayagraj is a city name in India. Kumbh Mela is another religious gathering that happened in the month of January and February. It's just for 45 days. Guess the number? How many people visited in just 45 days? Imagine. Yeah. So 1 million? 1 billion? Oh.
That's a huge. Yeah.
You reached beyond good, at least. More than 600 million. Imagine it's more than the population of North America, combining United States, Canada, Mexico, and other allied countries in just 45 days. So it's an awesome case study. That's why it was being put forward in Harvard and many things. So what exactly we can learn in this kind of case studies? This kind of religious gatherings. These are not just simple gatherings, right? So this is really a profound example to learn many things. And I request, it happens in 6 years and 12 years, something like that. If you get an opportunity, I request you all to have an experience into that. So in this, kind of gatherings, a lot many religion people, a lot many culture, a lot many aesthetics, and a lot many people, they come and they share their experiences. in the classroom also, we should have such kind of scenarios, right? So we should make our students, I mean, they should share the space with their, sharing their experiences, sharing their traditions, sharing their cultures. Because in our schools, we used to do like that. This is one such things we can learn from the gatherings. Same things from the Olympics and other things as well we can learn, because not many countries participate. We enjoy that, watching them. Similarly, I mean, this is a bridge through cultural exchange program, because these gatherings, we see the arts, we see the music, and we see a lot of rituals, right? Again, in the classroom, if every student can experience that kind of thing, this world becomes so peaceful. That's what we need to instill, right? And similarly, the inclusivity and representation. So when I visited this Kumbh Mela last February, so I have seen there is a transgender communities also in the part of that. Kinnarakara is the name of that. So see, this is a kind of different communities. They are coming there and everybody is welcoming them. So they're all at one part. There is no difference between economic backgrounds, nothing. So that we need to instill. Irrespective of their economic background, everybody should treat equally. So that is one more thing which we can learn from this kind of grand events. And similarly, the collaboration and teamwork, right? So collaboration is the key. Whether you are a technologist, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are a visionary, whatever it may be, our role is to do some difference. I hope, I mean, we may leave this conference with some kind of a renewal commitment to do something for the nation, at least something for ourselves first, then we replicate in our family members, then our school, our village, wherever we live in. So this is what one more learning that I have learned from that. And similarly, overcoming challenges. So when I travel this thing, I have seen, I mean, there was a traffic jam of 50 kilometers. I mean, you can say around 30 miles. There's a continuous traffic jam. It was there. So we need to tackle that kind of situation that I have seen practically there. These are the small things, but really these life skills are very, very important to, I mean, progress. So these are the things we can learn from this kind of gatherings. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next, Chitra. How can university and health sciences educators go beyond basic diversity efforts to create classrooms where all learners, especially those from underrepresented backgrounds, feel truly included and valued?
Yeah, thank you for that great question. I obviously, I'm a wonderful woman that displays her color really well, and I stand up to the knowledge I have, because it's all about what's in my head and in my heart, and that transcends into my arms and my hands and my fingertips, because that's where I provide care and I touch the life of somebody else, I hope to, for the rest of my life. So in a classroom setting, you have different learners. For me, I come from a healthcare background, so my education is for next generation of healthcare individuals. They could be physicians, they could be respiratory therapists, that's my background, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, speech language pathologists, but let's not forget the clients themselves and their family members, right? So that circle of care is really important. So in a real life situation, like for example, myself, I'm a respiratory therapist, so what am I really concerned about? I'm really concerned about what happens from my diaphragm up to my head. So how am I breathing? How is that patient breathing? What do we have to do to make them breathe better? And some of the illnesses associated with that. But when you're looking at working alongside a speech language pathologist, right? So you have someone who has breathing difficulties, has difficulty speaking. How do we work together to provide that client and their family that holistic care? Because when you're looking at indigenous health, a lot of indigenous folks don't usually access the healthcare system. Why? If they have a problem with their heart, they will go to the hospital and the cardiologist will see them. They get ECGs done, x-rays done, and blood work and all of that. But in their minds, they're thinking, but I'm still not balanced, because as soon as my medical aspect in my body is having trouble, that means the rest of the system is also out of balance. That's the mind, that's the spirituality, that's the emotional state, and all of that. So it's really bringing people with diverse backgrounds into a classroom setting, particularly when you have a lot of underrepresented people where the voices may be very silent. So how do you encourage them, empower them to leverage their cultural background, their ethnicity, to use that space to teach the others? Because we are only a representation of the clients that we see, of the patients that we see. So if there's a diversity of patients that we're going to be seeing, then we need to reflect that diversity within our staffing. That way there is a connectedness. When a family member comes over and they see another person of color or someone who they can relate to because they understand, then automatically they're going to be more compliant with their care and interventions. So I create a classroom where I bring in a family member or patient to tell a story. It only takes 15 minutes, and then we go into case studies. And the case studies may be related to patients who've got different backgrounds and diversity. How did we tailor the care to the needs of that particular patient? That is patient and family-centered care. Because if we don't do it, they're not going to have a good experience. They're not going to come back to the hospital. And in fact, they will hesitate to seek assistance in the community where they should. Upstream, and I'm going to talk about that in a bit, interventions are so important. So case study, simulated experiences, bringing in clients and families and different people to share their experiences at the forum, to learn together. Because at the end of the day, when you're looking at a patient per se, it's collaboration, like Karan mentioned before. It's about collaborating with each other and their expertise, because we can't have all of the expertise, but how do we leverage somebody else's expertise and collectively provide that holistic and comprehensive and evidence-based care to that individual? So there are many ways to do this, and also mentorship is really important, particularly for the quiet voices in the room. I've tried different strategies related to this, and I have to say that the engagement is fulsome because you have people learning about each other, because when they learn about the cultural backgrounds within that group, knowing that, okay, silence doesn't mean that they don't understand what they have learned, but it's simply the respect that they give somebody else at the table. So let me see how I can take that learning and apply that to the bedside. So you're actually enhancing cultural competency, cultural awareness, cultural safety within the healthcare system, which is so important because everybody is so busy in healthcare. But if you take a moment to do this every day and self-reflect at the end of the day, what can I do better? Then it just comes to the clinicians naturally. That may be doctors, respiratory therapists, nurses, physiotherapists, anybody, including family members.
Thank you. Thank you. Dean Banks, I hope you're all ready for this question. Within the United States and throughout Western European nations, there seems to be a rise of ultra-nationalism and a societal backlash against multicultural and diversity agendas. What place should promoting diversity and belonging in the classroom hold within this nationalist social environment?
Yes, bless you.
You're welcome.
Right. Yeah, no, this is, my background again is trained in political science. And regardless of where anyone falls on the political spectrum, at least here in the United States, there is a tug of war between trust factors, societal trust factors of where the country should go and the path and essence of multiculturalism in how big, how strong doses should be part of that future. To just be more plain, we have a backlash right now against multiculturalism in the United States. And at least in in what we're doing at Washington Adventist University, and especially myself as Dean of Student Success, it can be hard to assist minority groups within the university structure, within the classroom, to see their, again, social mobility and their future as we go back and forth and have this kind of tug of war in the United States society right now. I believe that multiculturalism is a bonus. And I believe that multiculturalism has a place in this nation's success. And upon that belief, I at least attempt to reach out to students, minority students in our university structure, and let them know that they have a place in this country's future. One of the biggest things that we can do, and when I say we, the collective we, all of us here in this room who believe in the strength of education, one of the things that we can do is really encourage students of all backgrounds not to give up. I know that there is a strong sense of keeping one's voice, which is true. But I think, frankly, that there's been a false narrative that multiculturalism in the United States means less money for everyone. It means that the United States will enter a decline. I vociferously disagree with that. I believe that if you share knowledge, because certain people groups in the United States have not, there's kind of a small, go with me here. You know, I am African American, right? Born and raised in the United States. My ancestors have been here for at least the past 200 to nearly 300 years. When African Americans were in the fields in the United States during slavery, no one said, hey, when you're done picking cotton, come read the Wall Street Journal and let's trade some stocks. No one was saying that. When Hispanic Americans are coming up into the United States, there's not that sharing of knowledge of how to understand to build corporate wealth. There doesn't need to be a backlash against multiculturalism.
That's right.
What needs to happen is there needs to be a sharing of the knowledge.
That's right.
If you share the knowledge amongst all groups, it makes for a stronger country.
That's right.
And that is what, at least at WAU, we are attempting to teach our students. Knowledge. Universities dispense knowledge, but it's knowledge of how to build yourself, build your character, build wealth, and care for others, and that is what strengthens society. Then it really doesn't matter what your skin color is, because we're all focused on the same goal, which is a stronger country.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. You know, when one goes up, we all go up.
That is it.
And the richness of who we are is that we all bring different backgrounds and cultures, and that's what makes us great.
Correct.
That's what makes us great. The second round, I'm going to ask the panelists 3 minutes each. That way we can get through the second round. So just be mindful of the clock. For the second question, Dr. Cheyenne, we're going to go back to you. How does social and emotional development, more commonly related to social and emotional learning, impact belonging?
We need a mindset shift. We have to shift the mindset from social emotional learning is all about me. Going directly back to what was just said. Social emotional learning and social emotional development has to be about self and others. There is self-efficacy, but there's also efficacy across the board. Do I believe in what I can do? And even more importantly, do I believe in what someone who's working with me can do? As a leader, do I have efficacy that I can lead this team? Do I have the belief that Becca, this is one of the most amazing, incredible humans I have ever met? Do I believe in her efficacy on my team? So when we are looking at belonging and social emotional learning, which again we call social emotional development, the mindset shift has to go from, well, I'm doing behavior management. No, you're not. If you're doing behavior management, you get ready to lose. It needs to be behavior development. Oh, I'm doing time management. No, you're not. Get ready to lose. You're getting into time development. I am not here to manage my staff for anything. I'm here to develop them. So as leaders and educators, what was the last thing you did with a development mindset? Not managing tasks, not managing a to-do list, not managing people. What was the last thing you did as development? And the one mindset shift that got me started was the difference between feed forward and feedback. Feedback may sound like, nice job. Thanks for getting that done. Oh, you did good on your test. That's feedback. I have no idea what to do next. I have no idea what your desired result is. On that test, I can see that you studied hard because the questions you were asking during class, you answered correctly. Oh. Well, that's feed forward. I know what to do now moving forward to be successful. How are you giving feed forward from a development mindset to the people that you're working with? To your own young people? To yourself?
Yes.
I look pretty today. That feels good to hear. Wow. My hair looks great. I picked the right colors for me. I have picked something that's tangible to tell myself and others that develops me moving forward. So what is the mindset shift you can make as leaders from feedback to feed forward and from management really stepping into development? That is how we create belonging. That is how we create stronger teams and networks. And that's how we share information and share knowledge that is going to take all of us and move us forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Kiran, how can schools and teachers, particularly in traditional education systems, enhance their support for students in embracing and practicing diversity and inclusion?
Yeah. I lost my mother when I was 3 years old. Okay, you understand the barrier that such a big wall has created that time. But my father, he beautifully took care of us, and he acted as a mentor. He guided me, and he took care of so nicely that my mother never came to my mind. So that is a bridge that he has created, that confidence bridge. So the turning point has begun when he took me to join to a boarding school, which we call as a Gurukul. Okay, so in India, it's a boarding school. You know, I mean, even after 25 years, when we had an alumni meeting recently, out of 35 students that we were studied together, around 25 people we met, even after 25 years. That time there was no phones, no communication. Even the rest of the people we are in touch, but unfortunately they were not able to join because they are residing in different countries. How it happened? When we joined this Gurukul school, teachers and students, they lived together. You know, I mean, every teacher, they used to give one kind of task every day, and that keeps changing, okay? As I'm a Hindu, okay, I need to do prayer in Hindu one day. Next day, I need to do prayer in Christianity. Third day, Muslim prayer. I need to do all those prayers every day, okay? So that's what the bonding together among the students. So this kind of education system practices that instilled in our system. Okay, this is what made us so strong among the student. Okay, then the second kind of wall that happened when I started my own company. There is a wall of hatred. Okay, wall of jealousy. You know, right? That is what happened in the corporate world, right? But fortunately, I married a beautiful woman. Sometimes she acts as a bridge, sometimes wall also. Okay, very rarely it happened combination. She supported me. She instilled a lot of confidence. Whenever I'm down, she supports me. So that kind of emotional confidence bridge again she has made it. So life is completely a lot of ups and downs and all. we need to see how it goes. So yesterday, when I was experiencing Spear, it's raining. That was I was talking to Chitra, right? Some people feel rain as a wall. Some people feel as rain as a bridge. Okay, this is how you perceive things in our life, right? So in our system, even right now, in everyday morning when I get up, in my image, 4 kind of people pass in my mind. Because in India, we say Vasudaika Kutumbakam. Okay, entire world is a family. That's what we treat. First is Tali, mother. Second is Tandri, father. Then third is Guru. Next is God. So priority for the teacher is more than the God. Okay, that's what we treat. That's why we treat as a temple. Education school is a temple for us. So that's why every day morning, the moment I get up, within just first 20 to 30 seconds, all these, first my mother's face, then my father's face, then all gurus that have touched my life, just span, just 20 seconds, right? Then the God comes. Okay, this kind of practices, this has instilled in our traditional education system, Gurukula system. So on this beautiful occasion, I would like to thank all my gurus who taught me, who acted as a mentor, and who gave me a lot of confidence to lead the tough times, right? Thank you all gurus. Some might be watching online. Thank you so much. And to my wife, and as well. And when the lockdown announced, right, the entire world is in different shape. But the beauty happened when there's a small cry came from the hospital because I was blessed with a baby boy. Okay, that is one more happiness bridge came across. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I
Thanks.
appreciate it. We have 2 more questions, and for the panelists, about 3 minutes. Chitra, in specialized health sciences programs, how can faculty maintain high academic standards while also using flexible and inclusive teaching methods that reflect different cultures, perspectives, and life experiences?
Thank you so much for that question. And I pause to reflect on the responses that my panelists have shared. It's very moving, speaking from an organizational development perspective to rain. It's blessings from God, right? And our gurus are our God, actually beyond that, right? And the political system that Chris mentioned is so important because, you know, we are all looking at multi-pronged approaches to move our educators into that next era of success. So thank you for that question. I'm going to dive right into some of the strategies that I have used. So on the one hand, the first question addressed how we can build reliance and resilience and interprofessional collaboration and cultural competency in our next generation of healthcare professionals. That's one thing. You're building them up from inside out, outside in, however, to their goals that they have planned for themselves. The second question here is the opposite side of the coin, and that is, what are we doing with our educators to promote them and give them the space and give them the competency to be more open-minded so that they can actually practice an equitable curriculum and classroom setting, whichever setting that could be. It could be a clinical setting. You can take the classroom right into the hospital, bedroom side, and that's your clinical setting. That is a form of learning, very powerful tool. So educators, what I did actually is I designed a curriculum which is very different to what clinical curriculum is all about, but it's all about equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging. So without equity, diversity, and inclusion, you cannot have belonging. So you need to get all those pieces right to be able to get people to feel like they belong, for them to feel like they're actually contributing. Because this is not about monetary rewards. Most people, when you say, and it's a lot of it is in the literature, what have I done to change the life of somebody who's going to change thousands of others, right? That's really what matters. So I actually taught a curriculum for educators and clinicians on equity, diversity, inclusion, about microaggression, intrinsic biases, stereotyping individuals. These are things that come to us from age, from experience, from the trauma that we've gone through. But how do we continue to stay open-minded? So that, and changing policies, I'm also an Accreditation Canada surveyor for educational institutions and universities. So it gives me an opportunity to go into educational institutions and look at their policies to see that, that they're inclusive. And diversity of voices and practices are celebrated. Because when you start upstream, it's going to show effect downstream. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Dean Banks, closing us up here. Within the community of global South nations, i.e. developing countries, how can social mobility for underrepresented minorities be sincerely and practically achieved if certain governments simply do not see the need of supporting it?
Yes, thank you very much. And I can just go right to the heart of answering that question, especially connected with what was beautifully said before about development. Developing people. The issue that we have in our world today is that some people are selected for development and others are left to the curb. That's the issue we have in every society on earth. Barely any society is untouched by this, I would call it, social disease. Some are selected saying, great, fantastic, they can develop and everyone else will serve those who have developed themselves. Nonsense. Nonsense. You want any country to collapse? Proceed with that.
Yes.
We must develop every single mind. Every single mind. Not one mind should be left out. And this is the aspect of how what we find in every nation on earth. The best thing that we can do is spread the message of developing every single person. Man, woman, child, and regardless of any ethnic group, regardless of any aspect of society, regardless of, here's the jugular, of any background that any people group may have had within society. Start afresh, start anew. We want to see success. Success can only happen when, I love that term, feed forward. Love it, love it, love it. You know, encouragement and empowerment, the best thing that you can do to a person, the best gift that you can give a person is to help them develop themselves. It's the best thing you can do. And in developing other people, you develop yourself. So I would encourage all of us here, with the influence that we have, to empower and develop every single life we're touching. Do not discriminate, do not have any bias, do not prejudge anyone saying, well, I don't see them developing, so I'm not going to spend the time. If someone did that to any one of us, we would not be here. Yes? Feed forward, develop, empower, and be sincere about it, and you will see society rise.
Well said. Let's give a big round of applause for our panelists. And as our MC comes back up, I'd like to encourage you, make sure you talk to these brilliant folks that are here. I've learned so much from them. Thank you so much. Thank you.